Hello everyone, I'm Sean and you're watching Exodus Automotives. In these times where everyone are aware about the ever-growing carbon levels in the atmosphere, there is a growing need to reduce carbon emission levels. The first response to this was electric vehicles. However, this is an evolving technology which is not yet on par with gasoline vehicles.
Tesla Plaid, Miss Bug Killer. Oh, we're good, we're good. All right, here we go. Okay, in a second, come on. Go, come on, Jack, go, go. Oh, we're all over. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
There is a need to bridge the gap between vehicles using conventional energy sources and electric energy sources. This need has been largely met by biofuels like ethanol. So, why ethanol? It behaves very much like these fossil fuels but way cleaner as it is a carbon neutral fuel, meaning there is no net increase of carbon in the atmosphere but is 30% less energy dense compared to petrol, keeping in mind that ethanol weighs less than petrol. All these seems bright, but it's not because to grow sugar canes, which is the main source for ethanol, you need to chop down trees to grow them, which is a bad move. And carbon is not just stored in the structure of the trees but also in the ground. So when the trees are not in its way, the carbon escapes into the atmosphere. However, if you are planting a sugarcane farm on ground which is devoid of trees, this carbon loss would not happen. One of the major flaws of an electric vehicle is the energy density, which you probably had no idea of as these automotive manufacturers never claim their flaws. To be on par with traditional internal combustion vehicles, automotive manufacturers increase the area of the battery, which eats up the space usually used by the occupants. This is the reason why there are no major electric planes as the batteries are very heavy and are not anywhere close to as energy dense as ethanol or jet fuel. And a point to note down that this video is about ethanol from sugarcane and not from corn, as ethanol from sugarcane is 7 times more efficient than ethanol from corn, and 60% of the ethanol is from sugarcane, and ethanol from sugarcane is cheaper than ethanol from corn and is going to get even more cheaper. So let's do ethanol versus electric vehicles. Ethanol is a renewable fuel and minerals to make electric vehicles are not, but can be recycled whose rate is just 5% as the recycling sector is not yet developed. Secondly, India and most of the countries do not have to import rare earth minerals which are depleting at a rapid pace as we use devices like phones, laptops, wireless microphones, keyboards all use lithium. So, adoption of electric vehicles will make it deplete faster. Ethanol and electric vehicles are claimed to be carbon neutral, so both win in this scenario. But extracting rare earth minerals is a very environmentally hazardous activity by which these things happen. For producing ethanol, we just need the juice from the sugar canes, and rest can be used to make paper, coal, fodder for cattle, disposable cutlery sets, and many more. This is how ethanol is produced. First, the sugarcane is grown, then the sugarcane syrup is extracted, then it gets processed for a few days and ready to be transported via trucks to ethanol stations. It is that simple compared to the process of fossil fuels we use. And also, many countries of the world stated that by 2030, all the production of petrol and diesel vehicles will be banned, which is a good thing as the goal is to be carbon neutral. So, guess what? Ethanol engines will replace these as they are carbon neutral fuel and prove to be way more efficient than conventional internal combustion vehicles in areas like energy density, instant filling up of the petrol tank, etc. In addition, production of ethanol has a far less carbon footprint compared to petrol and diesel. Fossil fuels like petrol and diesel require a lot of upfront energy consumption for identification of crude oil reserves, refining, transportation from crude oil extraction points via trucks, which also use diesel and petrol, which is already being very inefficient, and then transported to refineries in which there are a lot of steps of filtration, quality check, etc. And of course, it needs energy and transported to the seashores to be hauled by ships which use petrol and diesel, in which there may be oil spills, storing errors leading to fire, etc., to oil trucks which also use petrol and diesel and then reaching the location, then transferred to trucks which use diesel and then reaches to the fuel pump, which is not at all an efficient process, which does not exist in the production of ethanol. All these benefits and economic growth, even while being carbon neutral, is a win-win situation, which almost every country could be a part of the ethanol revolution. The average land holding of a farmer in India is 1.08 hectares. If the farmer grows ethanol from sugarcane, he will be able to produce more than 6,480 liters of ethanol in a year and having an income of more than 4 lakhs, which is 3 times the amount of an average farmer in India earns per year. Another potential challenge we felt was the availability of land, but thankfully, India has a lot of it. About 52% of total area of India is arable. In addition, about 5% of India's total landmass is unused but arable, which is this much land. This unused land can produce a whopping these many liters of ethanol per year. If India uses this potential, it can be a financially strong nation. Crude oil dependency can be a thing of the past, and ethanol can also be exported. As we keep adopting more and more electric vehicles, the price of the minerals used to make the batteries increase as they are limited, and as a fundamental economic principle that when the demand exceeds supply, prices tend to rise. Same goes with these electric vehicles and doesn't largely impact the price of ethanol as it is not scarce and is a renewable fuel.
People have all this talk about electric cars are the future and these gasoline burners are going to be dinosaurs. Not so fast. Now, electric cars in themselves are super expensive. The batteries cost a lot of money. It's a royal pain recharge them. They say they're going to fix all that, but I don't think so. They say the batteries will get cheaper with mass production. They'll have a longer range. But the exact opposite is happening. Actually, the price of lithium and nickel is going up, so the batteries are getting more and more expensive. And if you notice, Tesla is now using cheaper batteries in their cars, so they have less range because they don't want to use all the nickel and lithium, and they don't have as much energy. They're going the exact opposite direction of what you think. So when it comes to electric cars, be careful what you wish for. It could be a very expensive short-range deal.
Because of these mineral shortages, the bubble of future being electric is at stake, and ethanol boom is growing at a rapid pace, leaving electric vehicles outnumbered, just like what happened in South America, because they largely use ethanol and not petrol. And that's all for this video, which was a really long one. And if you're still here, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next one.